And good afternoon. It's Jennifer Britton, author of the Coaching Business Builder Workbook and Planner, Putting the Pieces Together. Want to welcome you back for my fourth virtual book club call. It is the first week back to work, quote unquote. It's a really busy week, so no surprise. It's right now just me. We may have others dropping in, but as I know, people watch this after the fact. So today's topic is pulling from my newest book, Coaching Business Builder Workbook and Planner. If you haven't picked up a copy, definitely check out the book over at Amazon. And you can also pick up a signed copy from my site, coachingbusinessbuilder.com. Today, I'm going to be dipping into pages 23 through 28. And I thought it would be really appropriate as we get back to work. So wanted to start off today's call by welcoming you back. If this is a first call, nice to meet you. If you are an avid fan of my writing, this is a fourth book that I've put out in the last 9 years. Every book is a new learning. Every book I do something a little bit differently, and I know how individualized planning is. As I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, what doesn't get scheduled just doesn't get done. That's what we know from, just decades of project management work. And the idea here is to introduce you to the book, to dip your toes into different sections. If you're just joining me by recording, you might want to grab some pens, paper, your planner, and a copy of the workbook and planner. These are short 30-minute calls, really geared to dip you into the what, why, and how of the Coaching Business Builder resources to get you thinking about things and sometimes into dialogue. Today's focus is really about back to work tools and also looking at mindset. So we're going to be dipping into the pages 23 through 25, but in terms of talking about getting back to work, I think it's always really useful to go to the higher level, and that is to the level of business vision. And I just wanted to give you a moment in my true style of getting you to think about and reconnect perhaps with your vision for this fall as you think about where you are today with your business and where you want to go by year end. What is your intention for this fall? And as you think about this fall, what is your vision? Just want to give you a 30-second pause. You may also want to continue to pause if you're really into that questioning. What is your intention? What do you really hope is going to happen by the end of the year? Just take 30 seconds right now to come to mind, to do a drawing, to capture some ideas on your business vision. This is one of those really exciting weeks for me. As you can see behind me, I'm back to the city, back to my main office. Always great to be back here. Missing the Northland, but also I know that it's much easier to get things done. So just in front of you, what you're going to see is, in fact, some intention setting I did at the start of the year. And it was really interesting. I pulled cards from 3 different resources. To your very far right, that is from Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention book. And I pulled a card called Practice the Power of Intention. That's been a big focus and something I've been asking all my groups that I've been working with. I also pulled a card, which you see on the lower left, and that is from the Points of View deck, all about love. And then above that are story cubes, if you've never seen story cubes. And it's interesting as I reflect on the journey so far and where we're going with the work and where I'm going with my partners and teams that I work with. It really is about abundance. It's about helping people find their own pathways, have the conversation, dip into resources. So just for yourself, think about your business vision, and hopefully this is going to anchor everything you do. Now, for many years in the Coaching Business Growth Lab, as well as earlier, many, many years ago, I've been talking about how important it is to really anchor in our mindsets, our behaviors, and our results. And certainly this is a framework I've been sharing with teams for probably the better part of the last decade. What we see in the team context, we see this in our own businesses, is the results. But our results just don't usually show up. They are from very concerted, very focused behaviors. And those behaviors are shaped by what is really below the waterline or underneath the surface of our business. It's the mindsets, the habits, the perspectives, assumptions, beliefs, and values. And I felt that in pulling together the Coaching Business Builder workbook, it was really important to give you, as a coach, as a business owner, some time and space to think about what are those elements that are helping to shape your business. Just like the Titanic, it's actually what's below the waterline that can actually get you in trouble, or can actually be leveraged, I think, in the flip side to give you the results that you want. So in today's session, we're dipping underneath the waterline, getting you to think about the business habits, the things that you do consistently on a regular basis to get the results that you want. Habits are things that become intuitive, subconscious, just the way we do things. One of the business habits that I've really developed is starting my day early. It's not for everyone, but I know that I am at my peak brain power early in the morning, and that was shaped by decades of work in the Caribbean, where life and work and relationships started at the crack of dawn in the cooler hours of the morning before the tropical heat ensued. And so I'm wired that way, or at least as a professional, that's how I've matured over the last 30 years, hard to believe. So business habits, I'd like you to take a moment and think about the habits that really shape you. If you do have a copy of the Coaching Business Builder, I'm going to invite you to actually flip forward to page 27. We're just touching on some of this worksheet here, but today getting you to think about the habits this fall that are going to help you move towards those results. Perhaps you want to increase your work around teams. Well, what are the habits you can develop to get out more in front of teams, or have more conversations around teams, or write more articles? Think about those as some practical, tactical things, because motivation is what gets you started, and habit is what keeps you going. If you're on Instagram, I hope that you'll follow along at Jen Britton, JENN.Britton, BRITTON. I'm doing a series around the Coaching Business Builder, and as I wrote yesterday, our vision pulls us through the choppy and sometimes turbulent waters of business and life. Whether things are going great or not so great, really our habits, our visions are the things that keep us moving forward. So what are the habits you consistently undertake? I want to give you a couple of minutes to think about your habits, what's going to help you really create that momentum, create those daily practices, whether it's around scheduling, clients, marketing, or content creation. We're just going to take a pause here for about a minute. Feel free to pause a little bit longer if you're listening to the recording. But what are the habits in these areas or other areas that are going to get you going and achieving those goals that you set out for yourself? Take a minute. One of the other elements of habits, just as I've said, our habits shape our behaviors, which shape our results. And actually in the Coaching Business Builder workbook, I'm taking you back to this notion of like our values shape our behaviors, shape our results. So we won't have time to do this today, but I'd actually like you to think about how your habits really do shape the behaviors and the results that you're getting. So in the book, I share one of my habits of getting into the office by 6 a.m., or that's not every day, but most days. And what behaviors does it lead to? It leads to at least 1 hour of focused project work uninterrupted. It is, as I said, sort of that heavy lifting brain time. If I'm doing proposals, if I'm doing design work, I know that that is the time of day when things are quiet. I usually don't even sometimes open up email so that I'm not distracted, because most people aren't at work by 6 a.m. Yet it gives me time to really have better design, have more detail, more creative projects, and I can get things done a lot more quickly. So whatever habits you've laid out, whether it's 3 or 5, I'm going to encourage you after today's call to go through and think about how those habits impact your behaviors and impact your results. One of the things we've been doing this year at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, which is another program I run, we meet on Fridays twice a month. It's geared for coaches who want to grow and accelerate their business, is we've been looking at different things that are helping and hindering your business. And as you think about your habits, I'd invite you to think about how this connects with the opportunities and constraints that you're facing in your business. Maybe you have a lot of opportunities, things that are really going to grow your business, but you realize the constraint is that you do not have enough people to help you do the work. That is not a bad challenge to have, but that's a big issue that shows up when we are going to scale business. So what are the habits that are going to help you either automate, bring other people on board so that you're able to grow and scale the business? I go into this tool a little bit later on in the book. It's not found in this first section. You'll in fact find it under the ecosystem section, and that is Kurt Lewin's force field analysis. Looks a little bit different, but it's the same notion of what are the opportunities and constraints facing your business. Now, beyond habits, remember, if we go back to our iceberg, the habits are just one part of what's below the waterline. I thought it would be useful as well to start zooming us into some mindsets. We're not going to talk about perspectives, assumptions, beliefs, and values today. Not that they're not important, they are, but I think just for sake of today's call, the time we have available, I wanted to pick these first two. And, you know, habits get a lot of attention. Just one final resource, I think the writing of Gretchen Rubin in this whole area of habits is great to dip into. The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg is also another great resource. But in terms of mindset, there's been a lot of focus on this, I think, across the corporate world in the last several years. Certainly the referencing Carol Dweck and her work on the fixed and growth mindset. This is spreading out to organizations. It's spreading out to educational facilities. I think it was last year that my son on Parent Teacher Day, he's in 8th grade now, but he said, "Mom, I want to show you something." And he pulled me over to one of the boards, and there was his name encapsulated in a brain. And his teacher had introduced grade 7s to this concept of growth and fixed mindset. And I think it's really important. If you haven't heard of Carol Dweck's work, you know, a growth mindset, and we can all be in both at any given time. A growth mindset really allows us to step into possibility. It's that place of open, of I can do it, it's possible. Fixed mindset is a little bit different. It's where we see resources as limited, where opportunities may be reframed as challenges, where we just aren't able to grow. And I think certainly in doing a lot of mindset work with leaders and teams, it is an opportunity to get people thinking about where your mindset is and how your mindset is going. So I'm going to let other people in as we go. And of course, we're looking at mindsets now. I want to welcome you to our call. We're just continuing to keep going with the Coaching Business Builder. We're working around pages 23 through 28 right now, if you just joined us. And I'm sharing a little bit about fixed and growth mindsets and how that can really shape, again, the behaviors that we are undertaking, just like the iceberg in a business model. So for those of you listening in today, joining in, I want you to be thinking about how do your own mindsets really shape where the business is going right now. Are you in that place of growth mindset? Are you in that place of fixed mindset? And while there's no right or wrong, I think the key is we want to be sure that we are really aware of when we're slipping below that line into the fixed mindset. As I share in the book, it's easy to really slip in and out of fixed and growth mindsets. And I've got a different sort of different vision or different graphic here. You know, we often think that success is this straightforward trajectory, when in fact, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, it really can look like a mishmash of ups, downs, twos, and fros. And within mindset work, we know that we can be sort of above that line into growth mindset. We can also slip into the area of fixed mindset along the way. So business mindsets consist of those deeper layers that I started off talking about at the start of today's call. At the deeper parts of the iceberg, our values, our assumptions, our philosophies, and our beliefs. And as you step back into your processes this fall, I'd like you to think about how your habits are shaping your mindsets. Maybe you're noticing this week, for example, that it's taking longer to get things done, or that your workload is really busy. And I know for most coaches, probably your week has gone like mine, a series of back-to-back calls with people getting back to work, some people jumping into it really excited, others sort of, you know, finding it challenging to flick off the summer switch and move into the fall. So think through how your business mindsets are shaping you right now. Are they geared for success? What is it saying about your attitude? Are you in a place of optimism and possibility? And for anyone who has worked with me in any of my other courses, very much we talk a lot about how do we use, science, how do we use research to make sure that we're helping ourselves and also helping our clients step into that place of possibility. Several years ago, I was lucky to work, to study under, I guess, do a MOOC with Richard Boyatzis. And many of you might know that his research focuses on something called the positive emotional attractor network in the brain. And he's done some amazing research specifically around coaching and the power of coaching questions on the brain. And so don't have a slide around this, but definitely you'll want to check out his research and his findings, where as coaches, questions we ask our clients, things like, what's possible? Or if you had $50 million, what would you be able to do? And I think sometimes as coaches, we're helping our clients really look at what's possible, but we may not be turning the frame to ourselves. So for a couple of minutes right now, because I know you've invested your time, whether you're here live or whether you're catching up after the fact, in the spirit of our framework today of stepping back into fall, thinking about your vision, I'd like you to just note what is possible for you in your work right now. And if you have a copy of the Coaching Business Builder, you'll definitely want to flip to page number 28. There is space there for you to write a little bit more about your mindsets, what behaviors it leads to, and then also what results it's leading to. And certainly in terms of looking at the business mindsets, we are really framing things from optimism to positivity to possibility to fixed or growth. So a quick example here with mindset is, what behaviors does it lead to? Continuing to try things out even when things aren't going well. That's something that I really helps drive things like more experimentation in my business, something I know that's really key. An optimist perspective might step into the place of believing that things will be better tomorrow. And that may lead to more consistent action through the ups and downs of your business. So take a moment, if you have page 28, to note out the different mindsets that are helping your business move forward, what behaviors it leads to, and what results you're getting. You may want to choose some of these mindset words here, or you may want to choose another one. Just take a minute right now to outline some of those business mindsets for yourself. Mindsets is definitely not an area that can be done in a few minutes. So I hope that just like any of these calls, this is almost as a prompt to get you thinking about some of these bigger rocks in your business. One thing I really love as an author is receiving fan mail, and I've started receiving some mail from readers. I wanted to share this. It was a card that I got in the mail. Thank you. And one of the readers indicates, Coaching Business Builder is simply fantastic. It is so encouraging to have A through Z information on setting up a vibrant coaching business in one resource. As a new coach, you provided necessary support to guide me into setting up a successful business. And I think a lot of this really frames into all of these elements, not just one thing. All of these elements weave together. And my hope would be in the end part of this year, or maybe you're stepping into 2019 or 2020, that as a regular practice, maybe as a regular habit, you're recognizing the value of creating a pause point. That's why I do these calls. It doesn't matter whether there's one person, 0 people, or 20 people on the call. It's hopefully a prompt to get you thinking about the different resources that exist in the Coaching Business Builder workbook. And these have grown out of more than a decade plus of conversations with business owners. I think my first, I would say I jumped full time into my work as a coach in 2004. And it was that fall of 2004 that I started getting a lot of small business owners from a range of backgrounds starting to join me. As some of you know, I taught business studies for a couple of years part-time. I taught preparing a business plan, HR, marketing studies. And that's where I cut my teeth as a group coach. So I know how important this idea, this notion of mindset is. It is an area that is underneath the waterline. It definitely warrants more attention. I'd like you to notice sort of what you see about your mindset, and it may shift over time. So that is what I wanted to share around mindsets and also habits. It's going to be very individualized. And I think one opportunity we face right now is starting to really gain some traction around our work. So as with most of these virtual calls, book club calls, I want to take you into the back part of the book, which is, of course, the planner. And I'm curious, if you've gotten a copy of the workbook, have you started using it? Well, you're going to notice this green tab here. I walk my talk. I've been hosting a number of hacks, and I am using it myself in my work. Really excited, really enjoy the different sections. If you haven't even cracked the spine, this is your invite. I'd invite you right now, open it up to page 145, where you're going to start seeing the monthly planning tools. Pretty much the better part of the bulk of the book is the monthly planning tools, and it starts off with the monthly tracker. This is the code you see here on page 146. You'll notice it shows up a few pages later. Didn't want it to go back to back, want you to actually look at things. And the monthly daily tracker, as you can see, I've started filling it in, is a place where we can actually start noticing things. I always say tracking gives us data. It gives us data about what's working, what's not working. I'm going to go to the screen here where you can actually see some of the examples where on this tracker, for example, that I used as a sample legend, you might want to be tracking your sales, revenue in, and this month I've actually called it revenue. You might want to be tracking calls that you're hosting, any exercise that you're getting. I know I have sections here for swimming and walking. Might want to be looking at any writing you're doing, networking. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, I have a section on Instagram, promotion, speaking, etc. So it's not too far into the month. You can start this at any time, even if it's like the end of the month. Just use your monthly planning tool for the month to track or recap some of the daily things that you've been doing. For those that are visual learners, this creates a very interesting tapestry, and there is data here. There's data that can really help us decide where are sales coming in? Have we even noticed where sales are flowing in? Is it the start of the month? Is it the end of the month? Is it on a Friday? Is it on a Monday? While this can seem really, really granular, as business owners, data is gold. Data is something that's so incredibly valuable. So you really can just do this on a daily basis. You'll notice if we go to mine, again, I like to use some colored paper. It's just the start of the month, so I've only done actually the first 4 days. I didn't have time to do yesterday's, but that's something that makes it easy, right? I can do these like every couple of days. I don't have to get really hard on myself if I haven't been able to do it. So that is one tool that you'll definitely want to flag. Another one, which is like on the other side, is the month in focus. And this is a 4 or 5 week tool, something where you can actually highlight at the start of the week sort of what your key priorities are. I did this last week, and even as I'm noticing it now, like 5 days later, there's a bunch of things that were priorities this week that are not listed. But at the end of the week, whether it is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's an opportunity for you to then to reflect back on key successes, enablers, derailers, also lessons learned, and next week I will. So you can see it clear on your screen, but already you might have noticed I've indicated certain things like key successes. One of the things that I was not, I would say one of the things that I was inspired to do, let me reframe it as that, early Tuesday morning was get up and send out my monthly newsletter. Sometimes I feel like that's hanging over my head. I got up early, had some real clarity around what I wanted to talk about, and got it out early. And that did help to have my enabler that I've written down already was focus time and early mornings. If I don't have that time, I often feel pressured. So your examples will be different. The Month in Focus tool is really a weekly tool getting you to think about what is happening each and every week. And it's a great way to capture ideas there in one place. So with that, we're coming to the end of our call now. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to participate in a structured paid program where I take you through structured activities, please join me for one of the upcoming September dates. Things that are becoming consistent are month-end reflection and month forward planning. That will usually happen on the final Friday of every month, either first thing in the morning like 6:45 a.m., but I think actually practically it's going to be later in the day, whether it's 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. But getting a lot of requests from the West Coast, people saying, I can't get up in the middle of the night, and I hear you. So I may keep rolling with you around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. This month, Friday, September 28th, the call will take place 3 to 4 p.m. That's a 1-hour structured program. I run it whether there's one person or 10 people, and it is going to take you through a reflective process to capture your ideas on the month that was and do some planning for the month ahead. Really low cost for that 1-hour program, $49 US. Hope that you'll join me for that. I'm also doing 2 hacks. Next one coming up is Monday, September 17th from 3:15 to 4 p.m. and that's fall planning. Just did one this morning. And also I'll be hosting a longer virtual business planning retreat. You might be wondering what's the difference between a 45-minute session and a 4-hour session. Well, it's literally the amount of time you want to give it. And so if you're looking at getting something done, I would say, the Thursday, September 20th, virtual business planning retreat is going to take you through structured exercises and activities. We'll be touching on the workbook and planner and also some other resources. Whereas the hacks, those 45-minute sessions, take you through, you'll need the Coaching Business Builder book at that stage. So with that, hope that you'll drop in and join me. If you enjoyed this call, please share it with others. Please let me know what you're using. You can share that over at our Effective Group Coaching Facebook page, or better yet, over at Instagram. So over at Instagram right now, you'll find at Jenn.Britton, the latest and I would hope greatest, but the latest posts are constantly evolving, constantly learning on like how to leverage Instagram. And stay tuned, there's going to be some videos that I'm doing next week to create some more buzz. If you have the book and you enjoy it, please send me some fan mail. I love getting cards in the mail. I'm happy to send you my mailing address. Also, you can email me, of course. So with that, take a look elsewhere throughout the book. I hope that this has inspired you to dip your toes into different sections. We've touched on business fundamentals, but there's also sections there on a solopreneur primer, marketing essentials, and the ecosystem, as well as a planner. And do connect. There is the connections. And of course, this will be posted over at the coachingbusinessbuilder.com website. I will also be uploading it to YouTube at the Effective Group Coach YouTube channel. And with that, next call is next Thursday at noon. I'll be hosting 1 or 2 of these virtual book club calls every month. Thanks for dropping in. Let us know what you liked. Let me know which tools you want more information around. That'll help shape future calls. And one final little plug for the book. There is, of course, a downloadable schedule. I don't have a copy here in full color, but I do have this over at the Coaching Business Builder website. So upcoming calls Thursday, let me reframe that. Monday, September 17th, Content Creation 101 for Coaches. Monday, October 1st, that is 9 promotional vehicles that coaches might consider. And also Monday, November 5th, Business Planning already. And that Content Creation for Coaches actually is not Monday, September 17th. It is, in fact, Thursday, September 13th. So with that, thanks for joining me. I'm Jenn Britton. Hope you have a great day. And remember, track your business and have fun while you're doing it. Take care.